I know most of you, especially those aged 20s and 30s, are scared of reaching age 40. Now, I'm going to tell you exactly what happens when you reach this age 40. Now, when I was in my 20s and 30s, I didn't know that there are things I'm going to face in my 40s, especially from late 30s. Now, what surprised me most is that when I was in my 20s, there are things that did not worry me a lot. I did not think about old age. Of course, I look young, but I'm not all that young. So in your 20s, you don't know that thinking of being old or becoming old does not arise. You're always comfortable and you look handsome and you're just living and enjoying life. But when you reach 35 and above, you start realizing and thinking about old age. So at this age, you come face to face with old age. In your 40s, that is when you start realizing that there is gray hair, your head, and this one. They start becoming one by one. And by the time you reach 45, 46, 48, all over it's gray. And now there's this baldness starts. Now, what is funny, you stop worrying about your physical looks. You start worrying because at this time, even that shyness that you used to have completely goes. And there's also one thing I noticed about this age is that when you reach 35, even without eating anything, your body you start becoming big. You add weight. You you add so much weight. You develop a pot belly, and there are some drastic body changes. Even your skin starts becoming dry, and the wrinkles might even start, especially if you used to drink. So in your 40s, from your 35 to 40s to 50s, you get drastic body changes. For women, you automatically add weight. And there's something that happens in your 30s. You stop being so active. You prefer being alone at home, either listening to music in low volume or watching television. That is what you prefer. You don't like going to the public places where there's noise. You just prefer being silent, quiet, and being alone. When you reach 30s, that is where you lose many friends. You realize that friends have developed different paths and you cannot interact anymore. Now, this age, you become closer to family members. And for most people, this is where you become more religious. Which is why you find that in most churches, many people are aged above 35. You'll either find children below 5 years or people above 35 years. You become more spiritual, more religious, and you find solace and comfort in the church. And this originates from the fact that you lose friends, you lose family members, and you come face to face with the reality of life. Another thing you'll notice that, especially when you reach 30, is that people start becoming uncomfortable with you if you don't have money. If you are very poor, you did not plan yourself well. When you reach 35 and above, you start getting isolated, and that's where the class start developing. You cluster with the poor if you don't have, and the rich cluster among themselves. This one comes automatically. You don't force yourself. So you find that you get comfort with those ones in your social and economic status. At this age, if you reach 40 or 30 and above, most people you meet on the road in your estate are younger than you. Now, if you are living in a rented apartment, you realize that you start developing some discomfort because you are 40 years or 45, and the majority of those ones in that apartment are 20s, very rowdy, who make noise up to midnight, who listen to loud music, but you just need a quiet place. And also, that is when your children are so big and you're living in a small house. So you start becoming so uncomfortable. So if you did not develop your own home, even your children start asking, why are we here? So you start getting affected and getting depressed. That's why you find people aged 35 and above, they're battling lifestyle diseases like depression, high blood pressure, diabetes, because of eating habits and also stress. They have not met their targets. Another thing that you'll face when you reach 35 and above or 40 is that you start attending family functions. You find yourself in WhatsApp groups. You find yourselves in family groups and social groups online where you are told to contribute something. This one you cannot avoid. So that's, when you are in school, when you have just completed college, you are covered by your relatives. They'll contribute on your behalf. But now, find that your parents are no more, or most of your relatives have become aged. They don't have money. So people look at you to take their place. Now you find automatically you are added to those groups. So contributing becomes normal, and going for things like funerals is something obvious. Because if you don't go, who will attend to your funerals? If you don't contribute, who will contribute to your functions? So this one also happens a lot. So in this age, you realize that there are things which don't matter anymore. Like, you can dress, you can wear very old clothes and walk in a public place without caring who looks at you. So you stop caring. You can you can own a smartphone, a very cheap one, and you don't care. You don't care how people look at you. So you stop caring. And when you stop caring, you learn that you are becoming mature. Very mature. And at this age, you realize that you are taking several bottles of alcohol when you are young. But when you reach 40, even half a bottle will completely make you drunk. And you are used to even staying in a pub the whole night. And in the morning, you can go home comfortably and report to work. But you reach this age, at 10 p.m., you are very tired, you want to go home. You want to go home. So this is also the age, if you are married, your wife will look at your face and tell you exactly how she feels. She will never hide anything. If you did not buy food, she will not give you food. This is the age where the leadership in the house will start shifting, where your wife will get more powers. She can chase you out of the house and there's nothing you can do. If you try to retaliate, the children are there. They will side with her and they'll give you a thorough beating. This is the age where divorces start. Where men lose their energy and women find comfort in singlehood. So age 40 is very significant and is an age where if you planned well your life, you will start living comfortably. People say that life begins at 40. This is where you experience real life. If you are happy, you are genuinely happy. If you are sad, you are genuinely sad. You will see how people look at you. If you don't have money, you don't have friends. If you have money, you have many friends. And you can easily grasp power. Now, at age 40 and above, this is where you have relaxed enough. You can comfortably run a business and earn profits. At age 40 is when most people have given up. They have completely given up because in their 20s and 30s, they were focusing on wrong things. At age 40 is where you cannot make a mistake. And if you make a mistake, you have to rectify it as soon as possible. So if you are aged 20s and 30s, there are things you're going to expect when you reach 40s. And at this age, will never be as comfortable as when you are in your 20s. So enjoy life in your 20s. 40s is coming.